What's going on, guys? Welcome to the video. Today we're going to be doing part 2 of how to win friends and influence people summary. This is the part 2 version. Like I said before, this is going to be 3 parts. We've done did the first part. If you haven't seen the first part, be sure to go watch that one. Check it out. Anyway, let's dive into this. Like I said before, we got some notes here to keep us on track, and I'll be going over the main parts of what I have read and learned so far. Starting out, remembering that person's name. Mr. Farley, he was a campaign manager for Franklin Roosevelt. He helped get Franklin D. Roosevelt in the White House when he managed that campaign. Farley remembered people's names. He discovered early in life that the average person is more interested in his or her name than in all the other names on earth. And it can be hard to memorize a name, especially if it's hard to pronounce. Sometimes that can be true. I agree with that, but I got my last name, Van Newcoop. It's hard to pronounce, and a lot of people have told me that they remember because of that. But anyway, back to where we was. Franklin D. Roosevelt took time to remember names himself, and even the mechanics that helped on the cars and stuff. And also W.F. Chamberlain, who was with the mechanics that helped deliver the car to the White House. It was a special kind of car that Roosevelt had to have because he had polio, and it done damage to his legs and stuff, and it crippled him. He was in a wheelchair for the rest of his life after that. But he learned Roosevelt a lot about the car, and Roosevelt taught him about dealing with people and stuff. And after that was all done, Roosevelt got a Roosevelt gave a thank you card and appreciation card to them. Let's turn the page. The next thing I got is becoming a good conversationalist. Be a good listener, encourage others to talk about themselves. That's what a lot of us enjoy doing, is talking about our accomplishments and stuff, and people like other people that's interested in the stuff that they are interested in as well. And be interested in learning about people in general, and being a good listener will help you a lot with meeting new people and making new friends. And people can tell when you're interested in what they are saying. And I'm gonna add a little something in here. Body language is really important. One of the most important ones, in my opinion, is by the way you make eye contact and look when the other person is talking. Says everything to that person, what you are. The next thing I got is Isaac F. Macrosson. I think I said that right. A journalist. He interviewed hundreds of celebrities, and he declared that many people fail to make a favorable impression because they don't listen attentively, which listen good, in other words. And very important people had told Dale Carnegie, person that wrote this book right here, that they prefer better listeners than talkers. Ability to listen cares more than almost any other good trait out there. It's better than any other good trait. And Sigmund Freud, who I've talked about in the first part some, he was a great listener of modern times. He had concentrated attention when people was talking, and eyes were mild and genial. And lastly, his voice was low and kind, and spoke in a manner which people would listen to what he was saying and stuff. A lot of us are always thinking about what to say next while talking to someone. It's better to listen, and they will talk more. One thing always leads to another when you're talking to someone. And so the next thing I got is make people like you instantly. You gotta make the person feel important and encourage others to talk about themselves and what we'll talk about a little bit earlier. Encourage them to talk about what they love to do and enjoy doing and stuff. And that was it was shorter one, but the next thing I got is you can't win an argument. Avoid it as you would avoid rattlesnakes and earthquakes. If you lose the argument, right? But if you win the argument, you lose it. And what I mean is, if you win an argument over that person, you feel good, but you have made that person feel bad. You hurt their pride. The best way to go about disagreement is, if you disagree with somebody, they'll say, now, well, look, I think otherwise, but I may be wrong. I frequently am. If I am wrong, I want to put right. Let's examine the facts here. And nothing can go wrong by saying that. Our person will be open to talking about it more and stuff. And you won't get into trouble by saying this, and it'll stop any argument from potentially happening. It will make them want to admit that they may be wrong too in what they was talking about. And also show respect for the other person's opinions. Don't ever say that you are wrong. It always, most of the time, causes backlash and stuff. And some tips I got right here is check your temper so you don't end up lashing out and stuff. And also find something that you can agree on within what you're talking about. Even if it's just a little bitty thing, be sure to do that, and you can build on it from there. If you're wrong, the next thing I got, if you're wrong, just admit it. In the book, we talk about Dale Carnegie, and how he was walking down the street with his dog in a certain place, and well, he didn't have a collar on the dog. I believe it was the collar. If I'm wrong, y'all can correct me in the comments if y'all read this book and stuff. He didn't have a collar on, and a police officer saw him, gave him a warning that he didn't have a collar and stuff. And well, after that, the first time police officer said, if this happens again, you have to tell it to a judge. And he ended up going a few times, risking getting stuff. Then one day he finally ended up seeing an officer again, and instead of trying to hide from it, he admitted it to the officer that he knew he did it wrong. He did wrong and stuff, and the officer actually let him off easy on this one. He let him go. And if he did the other opposite of that, he probably would have been telling it to the judge, like we was just talking about. But the next thing I got is begin in a friendly way and get the other person saying yes. When you propel in one direction, it takes some time to deflect it. Far more force to send it back the other way. When a person says no, it takes more to get it going the other direction and saying yes again. In other words, I'm trying to get to here. And once having said a thing, you feel you must stick with it. It's very important to start in a positive direction to get through. Let's see here. I think that's going to do it for this, guys. That was the main points of how to win friends and influence people summer part 2. If you enjoyed, I hope you enjoyed this video, and be sure to hit that subscribe button, turn notifications on, because I drop a new video every week. I will talk to all of y'all in the next video.